The massive alien warship appeared without warning, materializing just beyond Mars' orbit in a flash of purple light. Earth's early warning systems blared across every military installation, but Admiral James Thompson of the United Earth Fleet remained oddly calm as he stood in the Global Defense Command Center. "Sir, the vessel is larger than anything we've ever seen," reported his sensor officer. "It's about the size of Manhattan." Thompson took a sip from his coffee mug, his weathered face showing no sign of concern. "Well, they certainly know how to make an entrance. Status of our defense grid. All systems ready, sir. Luna Base and Mars Colony are at battle stations." The giant screen in front of them showed the alien vessel in high detail. A dark purple ship shaped like a throwing star, with sharp edges that seemed to drink in the sunlight. It was beautiful in a terrifying way. A communication request flashed across their screens. Thompson nodded to his communications officer. "Let's hear what they have to say." The screen flickered to life, showing a tall, gray-skinned being in ornate golden armor. Its 4 eyes blinked in sequence as it regarded the humans with what looked like disdain. "People of Earth," the alien spoke in perfect English, clearly using some form of translation technology. "I am High Commander of the Imperial Fleet. You stand before the might of the Galactic Empire, rulers of 50,000 worlds. Your primitive civilization has been noticed by our scout ships. You will surrender your world and join our empire as subjects, or face immediate destruction." Thompson looked around the command center. Several junior officers were trying to hide their smiles. Even his usually serious XO was biting his lip. "Is something amusing about this situation?" the alien commander demanded. Thompson couldn't hold back anymore. He laughed. It started as a chuckle and grew into a full, hearty laugh. Soon, the entire command center joined in. The alien's 4 eyes blinked rapidly in confusion. "You dare mock the Empire? We have ruled the galaxy for 10,000 years. Our smallest ships could reduce your cities to ash." Thompson wiped a tear from his eye. "I apologize for our reaction, Commander. It's just that. Well, you're not the first to underestimate humanity, and I doubt you'll be the last. You think your primitive weapons can stand against our power?" The alien sneered. "Our scanners show you barely have energy weapons. Your ships still use chemical propulsion." Thompson's smile turned predatory. "You know what's funny about humans? We've spent centuries preparing for this moment. Every sci-fi movie, every space battle in our fiction, we've been thinking about how to fight advanced aliens since before we had electricity." He pressed a button on his console, and holographic displays showed hundreds of defense platforms emerging from hidden bases on the Moon and Mars. Asteroid bases activated, revealing weapon systems that had been hidden in plain sight. "You see," Thompson continued, "we figured advanced aliens would rely on energy weapons and shields, so we went in a different direction. Sometimes the old ways work best." The alien commander's face showed the first traces of uncertainty. "This is your final warning. Surrender or be destroyed." Thompson shook his head. "Let me be clear. Earth will not surrender. We will not bow. And if you start this fight, we will finish it. You would doom your species with such arrogance." "No," Thompson replied. "We're giving you a chance to avoid a very expensive mistake. Humanity doesn't want war, but we're really, really good at it." The alien commander cut the transmission. The massive ship began powering up its weapons. Thompson finished his coffee and set down the mug. "All defense platforms, prepare for combat. Activate the slingshot protocol. Let's show them why you should never corner a species that turned nuclear weapons into a delivery system for pizza." As klaxons blared and the Earth's hidden defenses emerged from their slumber, Thompson couldn't help but smile. The Empire thought they were facing a primitive civilization. They were about to learn that humanity's greatest trick was looking harmless until it was too late. The first battle for Earth was about to begin, and humanity was ready to show the galaxy why you should never judge a species by its technology level alone. Captain Mike Walker stood on the bridge of the stealth ship Shadow, hidden in the darkness behind an asteroid. His small squad of 5 ships waited silently as the massive Imperial warship passed overhead, its purple hull blocking out the stars. "Sir," whispered his tactical officer, though there was no need to whisper in space, "they still haven't detected us." Mike smiled. The Empire's advanced sensors were looking for energy signatures, shield harmonics, and plasma trails. They weren't looking for ships that ran cold and dark, using nothing but momentum and gravity to move. "All ships, prepare tungsten rods," Mike ordered through the quantum comm system. The Empire couldn't detect or intercept these communications, another advantage they didn't expect humans to have. The Empire's ship was hunting for Earth's defense fleet, not knowing that the real threat was right beside them. While they searched for massive energy weapons and plasma cannons, they ignored the simple metal tubes attached to human ships. "Remember training," Mike said to his crew. "Just like shooting pool. Physics doesn't care how advanced their shields are." His weapons officer, Lisa, worked her controls with practiced ease. The ship's railgun system used simple electromagnetic forces to launch solid metal rods at incredible speeds. No fancy plasma, no laser beams, just good old-fashioned kinetic energy. "Target locked," Lisa reported. "Their shield configuration hasn't changed. They're still optimized for energy weapons." Mike took a deep breath. "All ships, execute pattern Delta. Fire when ready." 5 human ships emerged from their hiding spots, moving in perfect formation. Before the Empire's ship could react, 20 tungsten rods accelerated to near-light speed. The Empire's shields, designed to deflect energy weapons, might as well have been tissue paper against solid projectiles moving at relativistic speeds. The rods punched through their defensive screens like they weren't even there. "Direct hits," Lisa called out. "Their port side is breached." The Empire's ship turned, finally aware of the threat, but it was too late. Its energy weapons fired brilliant beams of light that passed harmlessly through the spaces where human ships had been seconds before. "Second volley, prepare for cleanup," Mike ordered. His ships were already moving to new positions, using the asteroid field's gravity to change course without engine power. The second barrage of tungsten rods struck with surgical precision. The Empire's mighty warship, over a mile long, began breaking apart. "Enemy crew is evacuating to escape pods," reported the sensor officer. "Let them go," Mike commanded. "Send the recovery ships to pick them up. Remember, we're not barbarians." As his team secured their first major victory, Mike opened a channel to Earth Command. "Command, this is Shadow Leader. You were right. Their shields don't stop physical objects moving at high speed. Their technology is amazing, but they forgot the basics." Admiral Thompson's voice came back clear through the quantum comm. "Good work, Captain. How's your ammunition?" "Plenty left, sir. These rods are just refined asteroid metal. We can make more anytime we need them." "Perfect. Because their main fleet just received the distress call. They're angry, and they're coming in force." Mike looked at his tactical display, showing hundreds of Imperial ships entering the solar system. "Let them come, sir. The bigger they are, the harder they fall," Thompson finished. "All ships, prepare for Phase 2. Let's show them what else humanity has been working on while they weren't looking." As Mike's squad disappeared back into the asteroid field, he couldn't help but feel proud. The Empire had spent thousands of years perfecting energy weapons and shields, while humanity had spent that time mastering the simple things: gravity, momentum, and the deadliest force in the universe, human ingenuity. The real battle was about to begin, and humanity was ready to prove that sometimes the simplest solutions were the most effective. After all, a rock thrown hard enough could kill even the mightiest warrior. And humanity had gotten very good at throwing rocks. Commander Anna Reed watched from Luna Base as hundreds of Imperial ships filled the space above Earth. Their purple hulls blocked out entire star clusters, creating an artificial night over parts of the planet. "They're deploying an attack formation," her tactical officer reported. "At least 300 capital ships. plus support vessels. Anna smiled as she looked at her own display. The Empire couldn't see what she saw. Thousands of small dots hidden among Earth's orbital infrastructure. What looked like simple satellites and space debris was humanity's true defense network. "They're broadcasting," Commander said, her communications officer. The Imperial Admiral appeared on screen, his 4 eyes glowing with anger. "Your pathetic ambush destroyed one of our ships. Now you will learn the price of defiance." Anna straightened in her chair. "With respect, Admiral, you should look up Earth's history. We specialize in defiance." "Open fire," the Admiral roared. The space above Earth lit up as hundreds of energy weapons fired simultaneously. The Imperial fleet expected to blast through Earth's defenses in seconds. Instead, their beams hit nothing but empty space. "Activate the mirrors," Anna ordered calmly. Thousands of orbital platforms suddenly came to life. Each one was a simple device, just a very reflective surface with basic thrusters. The Empire's energy weapons bounced off these surfaces, redirected back at their own ships. "Their own weapons are hitting their shields," reported Tactical. "Their formation is breaking up." Anna keyed her command frequency. "All asteroid bases, execute Operation Rock Drop." Deep in the asteroid belt, human engineers had spent decades preparing certain rocks. Now these asteroids fired their hidden engines, beginning their carefully calculated fall toward Earth and the Imperial fleet. "They're detecting the asteroids," Tactical reported. "They're moving to destroy them." "Perfect," Anna said. "Right where we want them." The Imperial ships fired on the incoming asteroids, their powerful weapons breaking the rocks into thousands of pieces. But physics was physics. The fragments continued on their path, now spreading out into a deadly cloud of high-speed projectiles. "Impact in 10 seconds, called Tactical. The Imperial fleet's shields flared as they tried to stop the barrage, but they couldn't catch everything. Rocks smashed into their ships at meteoric speeds, piercing hulls and destroying critical systems. "Second wave, launch now," Anna commanded. From the moon's hidden bases, hundreds of human ships rose from concealed hangars. They weren't large or impressive, each one barely bigger than an old Earth passenger jet, but they carried humanity's specialty: nasty surprises. "The enemy fleet is confused," Tactical reported with a grin. "Their targeting systems are designed for large capital ships. Our small ships are barely registering on their screens." Anna opened a channel to all human ships. "Remember your training. Get in close, deploy your payloads, and get out. Don't try to fight their big guns." The battle that followed would later be called the Dance of the Fireflies by human pilots. Small Earth ships darted between the massive Imperial vessels, too small and fast to hit effectively. Each pass left behind clouds of what looked like simple metal pellets. "Magnetic mines armed," reported Tactical. "Detonation in 3, 2, 1. The pellets activated, attracted to the strong energy fields of Imperial shields. Where they struck, they created localized gravitational distortions that twisted space itself. Imperial shields, designed to stop energy and matter, had no defense against warped spacetime. Ships began breaking apart as gravity turned against them. The mighty Imperial fleet found itself fighting an enemy they couldn't effectively target, using defenses that didn't work, while their own powerful weapons were turned against them. The Imperial Admiral's face appeared again on Anna's screen, showing a mix of rage and disbelief. "This is impossible. You're nothing but primitives." Anna shook her head. "No, Admiral. We're humans, and we've spent our entire history preparing for fights we shouldn't be able to win. Welcome to Earth." As the battle raged on, Anna knew this was just the beginning. The Empire was learning a hard lesson about humanity. Sometimes the most dangerous opponent isn't the one with the biggest weapons, but the one who knows how to use simple tools in clever ways. Lieutenant Tom Parker floated silently in his small strike ship Ghost Runner, watching his radar screen as 3 massive Imperial vessels passed by. His team of 12 ships was scattered throughout the asteroid belt, each one powered down to avoid detection. Like hunting lions with a pack of wolves, Tom whispered to himself, remembering his grandfather's old hunting stories. His second-in-command, Jack, spoke quietly through the quantum comm. "They're falling for it, boss. They're chasing our drone decoys deeper into the belt." The Imperial ships have been hunting human vessels for days now, growing increasingly frustrated. They didn't understand why their advanced sensors couldn't find Earth's fleet. They didn't realize that humans had turned the entire asteroid belt into one giant trap. "All ships, sound off readiness," Tom ordered. One by one, his team reported in. Each ship carried a different weapon system. Some had railguns, others carried gravity mines, and a few had the new sonic disruptors that could shake an Imperial ship apart from the inside. "Remember," Tom said, "we're smaller, faster, and more maneuverable. Don't try to match their firepower. Just hit and run." The Imperial ships moved deeper into the dense part of the asteroid belt, their massive size forcing them to move slowly to avoid collisions. They were looking for human capital ships, something big enough to match their own vessels. They weren't prepared for what was coming. "Now," Tom ordered. 12 human ships powered up simultaneously, launching from their hiding spots behind various asteroids. But they weren't the only things that moved. Hundreds of asteroids, previously thought to be random space rocks, fired small thrusters. "Release the nets," Tom commanded. From each asteroid came thin, nearly invisible strands of carbon nanofiber wire, stronger than steel but finer than hair. The Imperial ships didn't even notice as they flew through the web of wires. "They're caught," reported Jack. "Their own momentum is tangling them up." The massive Imperial ships tried to power through the nets, but physics worked against them. The more they struggled, the more tangled they became. Their energy shields couldn't stop simple wires from wrapping around their engines and weapon ports. "Phase 2, execute," Tom ordered. Its ships darted in from all directions, each one targeting a specific system on the trapped Imperial vessels. Railguns fired at exposed sensor arrays. Sonic disruptors attached to hull plates, sending vibrations through the enemy ship's structures. "Their shields are still up," reported one of his pilots. Tom grinned. "Doesn't matter. You don't need to break through a shield if you can shake what's inside apart." The Imperial ship's crews soon discovered another problem. Their energy weapons were too powerful, too specialized. Trying to hit the small, fast-moving human ships with their massive cannons was like trying to swat flies with a telephone pole. "They're launching fighters," called another pilot. "Perfect," Tom responded. "Activate the field." Hidden generators in nearby asteroids powered up, creating a localized disruption field. The Imperial fighters, dependent on complex electronic systems, suddenly found their controls unresponsive. The human ships, running on hardened and simplified systems, were unaffected. "Target their fighter bays while they're recovering their disabled craft," Tom ordered. "Don't let them adapt to the disruption field." The battle turned into a deadly dance. Human ships weaved between asteroids, using the natural cover of the belt. Every pass brought another precise strike against the tangled Imperial vessels. No single hit was devastating, but they added up quickly. "Sir," Jack reported after 10 minutes, "their engines are failing. Hull breaches on all 3 ships." Tom opened a channel to the Imperial vessels. "This is Lieutenant Parker of Earth's Defense Force. Your ships are disabled. Surrender now, and we'll ensure your crew's safety." The response came quickly, 3 emergency surrender signals. As his teams began rescue operations, Tom couldn't help but smile. The mighty Imperial fleet, with all its advanced technology, was learning a hard lesson. Sometimes the most effective warrior wasn't the strongest or most advanced, but the one who knew how to use their environment to their advantage. "Command, this is Ghost Runner," Tom reported. "Asteroid Belt Sector 7 is clear. 3 more Imperial ships captured. Moving to the next sector." The guerrilla war continued, one small victory at a time. Admiral James Thompson stood on the bridge of Earth's first true carrier, the humanity's hope, as it emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the Imperial supply base. The ship wasn't pretty. It looked like a massive box with engines attached, but it carried humanity's newest weapons. "Status report," he commanded. "Imperial base defenses are activating," his tactical officer reported. "Their sensors just picked us up. They're launching response ships." Thompson nodded. "Begin electronic warfare sequence." Deep inside the carrier, teams of hackers who had spent years studying captured Imperial technology went to work. They had discovered something interesting about the Empire's standardized systems. They all used the same basic code, unchanged for centuries. "Transmitting virus now," reported his cyber warfare chief. "They're so used to fighting energy weapons, they never bothered to upgrade their computer security." On the main screen, Imperial defense systems started shutting down one by one. Their automated targeting computers, their shield generators, even their internal communications, all going dark. "Launch our birds," Thompson ordered. The carrier's sides opened, revealing rows of small fighter craft. But these weren't ordinary fighters. Each one carried a quantum entanglement device, something the Empire had never developed because they thought it was impossible. "All fighters launched," reported his flight controller. "Beginning attack pattern Delta." The Imperial base's commanders watched in horror as their advanced sensors showed hundreds of human fighters appearing and disappearing randomly around their installation. They couldn't track the human ships because they weren't using normal space to move. They were using quantum tunneling. "Their backup systems are online," Tactical reported. "They're trying to adapt." Thompson smiled. "Too late. Begin Phase 2. From the carrier's launch bays came the next wave. Hundreds of small drones. Each one carried a simple but effective weapon. An electromagnetic pulse generator. The Empire, with their reliance on complex electronics, had never considered protecting against such basic attacks. "EMP drones in position," Tactical announced. "Firing in 3, 2, 1. The space around the Imperial base lit up with electromagnetic pulses. Their backup systems, their emergency generators, even their personal devices, everything electronic went dark. "Main force, move in," Thompson commanded. The carrier's final surprise emerged, a fleet of Earth's new hybrid ships. They combined Imperial technology captured in earlier battles with human innovation. These ships could match Imperial energy weapons while still carrying humanity's primitive but effective kinetic weapons. "They're trying to send a distress signal," communications reported. "Let them," Thompson replied. "It's time the Empire learned we can reach them anywhere." The battle was surprisingly short. Without their advanced systems, the Imperial base fell quickly to the combined human assault. Within an hour, Earth had captured its first Imperial installation intact. Thompson walked through the captured command center, looking at the advanced technology with a critical eye. "Begin downloading their databases. I want every scrap of technical information they have." His science officer rushed up with a tablet. "Sir, you need to see this. They're star charts. They show the locations of every Imperial installation in this sector." Thompson's eyes widened as he studied the data. The Empire had grown complacent over thousands of years of unchallenged rule. They never thought to encrypt their basic navigational data. "Send word to Earth," he ordered. "Tell them we found what we need. The counterattack can begin in earnest." As his troops secured the base and prepared for the Empire's inevitable response, Thompson reflected on how quickly things had changed. Just weeks ago, humanity had been fighting for survival. Now they were taking the fight to the enemy. "Sir," his tactical officer called out, "long-range sensors show multiple Imperial fleets converging on our position." Thompson nodded. "Good. Send them a message. Tell them Earth sends its regards, and we're just getting started." The real war was about to begin, and humanity had just proved they could hit the Empire where it hurt. The Empire was about to learn another lesson. Never corner a species that treats impossible odds as a personal challenge. Director Jane Cooper stood in the underground command center of Earth's deepest bunker, watching as the Imperial planet killer moved into position near Mars. The massive weapon was the size of Earth's moon, its purple hull crackling with energy that could tear planets apart. Their ultimatum just arrived, her communications officer reported. They're demanding Earth's complete surrender within 1 hour, or they'll demonstrate their weapon on Mars. Jane looked at the screens showing Earth's hidden defenses. For decades, humanity had prepared for this worst-case scenario. While the surface showed cities and normal life, the real Earth lay deep underground. "Send them our response," she ordered. "Just 3 words. Do your worst." Her staff looked nervous, but they trusted her. They knew what the Empire didn't, that humanity had moved 90% of its population underground years ago, preparing for exactly this type of threat. "They're powering up the planet killer," reported Tactical. "Energy readings are off the charts." Jane opened a channel to all Earth's hidden bases. "Execute Operation Groundhog. This is not a drill." Across the planet, massive shield generators powered up. But these weren't normal energy shields. They were gravity manipulators, designed to redirect and channel energy rather than block it. The Imperial weapon fired, its beam striking Mars with incredible force. The red planet's surface began to crack, massive fissures spreading across its face. Mars Base 1 reporting, called Communications. All personnel safely evacuated to deep shelters. Automated systems running as planned. The Empire watched in triumph as Mars seemed to break apart, until they realized something was wrong. The pieces weren't floating away. Instead, they were moving with purpose, revealing massive engines and weapon systems built inside the planet itself. "Activate Mars Defense Platform," Jane commanded with a smile. The broken pieces of Mars reconfigured, transforming into humanity's greatest defense platform. What the Empire thought was a simple terrestrial planet was actually a massive battle station, built piece by piece over decades. "Imperial fleet is in chaos," Tactical reported. "They're not sure what they're seeing." Jane opened a channel to the Imperial command ship. "You thought you could threaten us with planet-killing weapons. We turned our entire planet into a weapon long ago. Would you like to see what it can do?" The transformed Mars platform opened fire, its weapons powered by the planet's core itself. The Imperial planet killer, for all its power, had no defense against a weapon platform that dwarfed it. "Their automated systems are trying to adapt," reported her cyber warfare team. "Initiating quantum virus upload." This was humanity's secret weapon, a virus that could spread through quantum entanglement, infecting Imperial systems faster than light itself. Their standardized computer systems, unchanged for millennia, had no defense against it. "Their ships are losing power," Tactical announced. "The virus is spreading through their entire fleet." Jane watched as the mighty Imperial armada began to drift, their advanced technology turned against them. The planet killer, their ultimate weapon, floated powerless in space. "Send in the boarding teams," she ordered. "Let's add their technology to our collection." As human ships moved to capture the disabled Imperial vessels, Jane received an urgent message from deep space sensors. The Empire's central fleet was on its way, tens of thousands of ships, carrying enough firepower to vaporize entire star systems. "They're trying to scare us with numbers," Jane said to her staff. "Send word to Admiral Thompson. Tell him to prepare the carrier fleet. It's time for humanity's final surprise." She looked at the tactical display, showing the incoming Imperial armada. They still hadn't learned their lesson. They thought overwhelming force was the answer to everything. They were about to discover that humanity's greatest weapon wasn't their technology or their preparations. It was their ability to turn defeat into victory, to transform disadvantage into advantage, and to meet impossible odds with impossible solutions. "Status of the quantum weapon?" she asked. "Ready for deployment, Director." "Admiral Thompson reports his carriers are in position." Jane nodded. "Good. Let them come. It's time to show the Empire why you should never push humanity into a corner." Admiral James Thompson stood at the command center of the combined human fleet in the Kuiper Belt, watching as the Empire's massive armada approached. Tens of thousands of Imperial ships darkened the space before him, their purple hulls blocking out the distant stars. "All carriers report ready," his tactical officer announced. "Quantum weapon is charged." Thompson looked at the weapon display. It didn't look impressive. Just a small black box that had taken humanity's best scientists a decade to build. But it represented humanity's greatest achievement, control over gravity itself. "Send our message to the Imperial Commander," Thompson ordered. The main screen lit up, showing the Imperial Grand Admiral, his 4 eyes glowing with rage. "You dare to challenge our final fleet. Your tricks end today." Thompson smiled. "Actually, we're giving you one chance to surrender. What's about to happen isn't something anyone should have to experience." The Imperial Admiral laughed. "Surrender. We have 50,000 ships. You have barely 100. Quality over quantity," Thompson replied calmly. "But you never learned that lesson, did you?" He nodded to his weapons officer. The small black box activated, sending out waves of distorted space-time. At first, nothing seemed to happen. "Your final weapon appears to be defective," the Imperial Admiral mocked. Then the effects began. Space itself started to twist around the Imperial fleet. Their carefully arranged formation began to distort as gravity shifted unpredictably around them. "What's happening?" demanded the Imperial Admiral as his ships started colliding with each other. "We figured out something you missed," Thompson explained. "Gravity isn't just a force, it's a tool. We learned to shape it, control it, use it as a weapon. Your advanced shields can't stop it because it's not energy or matter. It's space itself being reshaped." The Imperial fleet tried to retreat, but they couldn't. The distorted space had created a gravity well, pulling their ships toward its center. Their powerful engines were useless against the fundamental force of the universe itself. "Now," Thompson commanded. Human carriers launched their fighters, small ships equipped with gravity drives that could navigate the twisted space. They darted between the trapped Imperial vessels, attaching quantum beacons to their hulls. "Beacons in place," reported Tactical. "Quantum entanglement network established." Thompson opened a channel to all Imperial ships. "Your vessels are now linked through quantum entanglement. Whatever happens to one happens to all. Your mighty fleet has become its own prison." The Imperial Admiral's face showed fear for the first time. "This is impossible. You're nothing but primitives." "No," Thompson corrected. "We're humans. We spent centuries dreaming of the stars, preparing for this moment. While you relied on brute force, we learned to work with the universe itself." He looked at the tactical display, showing the Imperial fleet trapped in the gravity well, their ships helpless. "For the last time, surrender." The Imperial Admiral looked at his own displays, watching his mighty fleet being held captive by forces he couldn't understand. "How? How did you do this?" "Because we never stopped learning," Thompson answered. "You thought technology was about building bigger weapons. We knew it was about understanding deeper truths. That's why you'll always lose to us, because you stopped growing thousands of years ago." Long seconds passed as the Imperial Admiral considered his options. Finally, his shoulders slumped. "We surrender." Thompson nodded. "Wise choice. Power down your weapons. We'll begin rescue operations immediately." As human ships moved in to secure the Imperial fleet, Thompson sent a message back to Earth. "Mission accomplished. The Empire has surrendered. Humanity is safe." He looked out at the stars, now visible again as the quantum weapon released its hold on space. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge and emerged victorious, not through overwhelming force, but through innovation, creativity, and the stubborn refusal to accept impossible odds. The age of the Empire was over. The age of humanity had begun, and they would do better than their predecessors, not by ruling through fear, but by leading through innovation. The stars awaited, and humanity was ready to explore them as equals, not conquerors.